So, some of you may have seen the video that I put up recently titled, "I'm dying!" Exclamation, exclamation, one exclamation, question mark, question mark. And in that video I stated that I was sick and I felt like I was dying, and that's why I hadn't been uploaded. Funnily enough, shortly after that video, I did die. But what some of you may not know is that dying is not the end. You can sacrifice your brain to come back to life. And that is what I did, because I was not ready to give up this mortal plane yet. And so right now, I'm only running on a broken shell of a brain. And yes, I know, I may have been doing that my whole life, but this time it's true. This time, it's legit. So today, can you guess what we're doing? We're making a new brain! I have in my possession a recipe for an entirely new brain box to replace the one in your head, so that you never have to think for yourself again. This brain box will make all of your decisions and do all of your thinking for you, and you can just live life blissfully unaware. For this recipe, you're going to need the following. The first thing you're going to need to get started is just your box. You don't need any. Also, it might actually be a good idea to put some paper down so that you don't ruin whatever surface that you're working on. Now, we are set. Now at this point, you're going to want to plug in your glue gun. While the glue gun's heating up, then now would be a perfect time to start unraveling your paint so you can have a look at the sort of colors that you're going to be decorating your mind with. You can't go back on these. Now that your glue gun is heated up, you're going to want to seal every end of the box and make sure that it's all nice and solid as you would like your brain to be. I think we've got it now. Outstanding job! The next step is the best step. Take your biggest brush, take your favorite paint, and just start to cover your brain. You can do whatever design, whatever palette best represents you. I like purple because it makes me think of the night sky. Once your paint is all dry, then you can begin to add the final details. Things like, you're going to need a speaker for the brain commands to be whispered centrally into your ear. And for this you can draw any shape that you like. I like to keep it neutral. I'm just going to make a very straight, very average. There. Just like that. And you must be thinking, it's just a marker. How can it whisper sensually into my ear? And you are right, it is just a marker. But the marker is just an outline. You're going to cut it out. And you're going to do that now. I'm going to use this knife. It's a very sentimental item to me, for this is the knife that I use to cut my life into pieces. And you're going to just very carefully cut it out. As you can see, you now have a happy and grotesquely deformed smile. Similar to my thoughts, the thoughts that will be coming out of this box. Next, we're going to be adding some details to it, and these are purely cosmetic, so you can use whatever you want. I'm going to stick with my very simple palette of purple, blue, and green. I'm going to start off using a metallic blue. Now for these, it's very important that you just do whatever pleases your heart. Go wherever you wish to go. The decorations on your brain box need to be an accurate representation of who you are as a person. And it may be pretty, it may be ugly, but it's you. Now I like to use a metallic blue. It's a very reminiscent shade for me. It's the same shade as the car that ran over my parents when I was 6. And we're just going to make a little star, just to go along with the galaxy theme that we have going here. It's a nice purple box, And as you can see, I've also done a little moon there. See? And it's very shiny. I like that because I like to be noticed. It makes me feel less insecure. You know what? While we're at it, I'm feeling a little Bob Rossi. I think I'll add another star so that the first star isn't alone, because everybody needs a friend, even though not everybody gets a friend. Now you want to be very careful and only decorate one side of your box, because if you decorate the whole thing, you're going to be very distracted. Now I'm going to use the color shifting green. It's a very unique color. I like the way the color shifts when you turn it into the sunlight and changes to all these different colors. It reminds me of the haze surrounding the demons that plague me at night. Now I like to have a lot of structure in my life, and I think that because of that, I'm going to add some good regular shapes. There's a square. Isn't that cozy? And you know what? While we're at it, let's add a circle right there. How pretty. And in case you're wondering, we're leaving this space open, and you're gonna find out why. But before we do, there's one more thing that I want to add. This is a little experiment of mine. Now that I'm building my own brain box, I can make some changes if I want to. And I'm going to add a little heart in hopes that maybe this change will allow me to love myself. Now that we're done the main decoration, we can just add a couple spots over the box, just to liven it up a bit, so that it's not, you know, just a bland, regular purple box. We need to have something to give a little spice to our lives, and that's just the way the world works. You always need a little bit of spice so that you don't get bored and do something bad. There. It kind of looks like a galaxy. And now we're at the last crucial step to put into this before we start sprinkling, you know, little nice additions just to make life a little bit easier for you. Every person needs a creative outlet and a creative input. Especially since your new brain box is not connected directly to your brain, you have to feed it the inspiration that gives you any sort of creative sense. To help that along, in the little space that we left open, we're going to create two slits. One at the top, and this will be for your creative input. As you can see, the input is a little jagged. As for the creative output I mentioned, we already have it right there. Now there may be some additions that you would wish to make your brain box a little bit more your own. These additions could be emotions, anger control, empathy. I think I'm good with the way it is. I don't like to bog myself down with too many nuisances. There is one more detail that I would like to add though. My final detail was a little mailbox-like flipper. Now this is a very handy thing because if you're like me, you're going to be getting a lot of ideas. It never stops, but it's hard to know when a good one comes. And that's why we have this. Anytime we have a good idea, this will just pop up and we'll know to check the box. As we know, everything in life comes with a price, and as we've recently found out, everything in death also comes with a price, and the brain box is no different. If you want to be able to actually use this, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices, and that's why we have the creative input. This is where we put little pieces of ourselves that fill the box up with our own personality and our own charm, and gives us the creative inspiration we need to actually create things. Now, some good ideas are things that are very close to your heart. Now, for instance, first of all, I'm going to put in my two very favorite DS games. Now, the second thing you're going to want to feed it is some information about yourself, my hopes and dreams, and life's fears. Into the box. Obscure and useless information that I could not live without. Childhood trauma. The final thing to add to your box to complete it is a little piece of your heart. This is going to be a very private act for me though, so if you'll please excuse me. And that's basically it. You've built your brain box, you've filled it with your innermost soul, and now you can just kick back, relax, and never have to think for yourself again. And personally, I'm excited to get started. If you've built the box correctly, then it should already be whispering sweet ideas. The last thing to do is to carefully bring the box up to your ear and hear what it has to say. It's perfect.